if you just kind of hope and wish and pray and keep saying that you want to do something, but you're not actually putting the actions to make it happen, it's not going to happen. And then you're going to say, oh, I've tried everything. The problem is you've tried everything, but you haven't stuck to anything. All right. Simple truth number one, energy balance does not lie. And I'm not one to dismiss the impact that hormones play on your ability to burn fat, because they do play a role. But if you are exercising and if you are eating well, relatively well, and you're not losing weight, well, guess what? Your energy balance is off. You're either at a maintenance or you're in a surplus. So you need to adjust what you're doing. It could be adjusting your activity, adjusting your nutrition, switching up some of your foods in order to get into the position for your body to want to mobilize fat. Okay? Because I understand that a lot of people feel like they have a slow metabolism, but there's many variables that go into that. And one reason why you have slow metabolism might be because you don't have that much muscle mass because you don't work out, and you're not being consistent with getting enough protein. So these are things that are going to slow your metabolism down. All right. Or those are things that you're just not adding that are going to help speed it up. So rather than playing victim and saying there's something wrong with you, look at the things that you're doing and make the necessary adjustments. So that's number one. Number two, people will probably think you're crazy and criticize you. In order for you to get lean to the point where you may have abs or you have a flat stomach, that's not common in most places, right? The people that are doing those things, unless they have some freaky genetics, typically eat relatively healthy, which is not normal. They eat lots of vegetables. They eat very lean for the most part. They exercise consistently. So if you're doing these habits now and you weren't doing them in the past, people around you that are used to you being this person that doesn't do any of those things are going to think you're crazy. When you start to lose weight, rather than them congratulate you, they might start saying, hey, you're getting too skinny. Why are you doing that? Nah, that's crazy. You go exercise. I'm going to go enjoy my life. Why don't you drink anymore? Like, they're going to start questioning you like you're some freak. And you might be a little bit of a freak. You might be a little bit of an outlier. And you have to accept that. There's been so many times where people are questioning why I'm not drinking. And it's because I knew that that wasn't going to help me towards the goal that I had. And I've had moments where I'm trying to get really lean for maybe a show or a photo shoot, or just because I want to be leaner or healthier. And I get criticized a lot, but I'm used to being the outlier. I'm used to being the weird guy. Even in medicine, I'm the doctor that people look at as this guy works out a lot and is really like some nutrition nerd. All right. So be okay with being kind of the odd man out every once in a while, or odd woman out, because got to be inclusive. All right. Number three, there's going to be times where you may feel hungry. Yeah, and that's okay. Hunger comes in waves. No one is ever hungry for 6 hours. What ends up happening is your body expects food at a certain time. And when you don't give it food at that time, it's going to send you that hunger signal. And a lot of times when that signal is sent to you is based on your blood sugar fluctuations. So what you'll notice is when you stop eating so much processed sugars and stop eating like pancakes or a croissant or things like that for breakfast, and you start switching to either skipping breakfast or having more protein in your diet for breakfast and less things like orange juice and sugars, your blood sugar is going to be more regulated and it's not going to spike and come back down. And because it doesn't spike as much, you're going to have a more stable hunger signal. Okay. And along with that, when you stop eating and snacking all the time, your body's going to just give up with sending that signal, and your body's going to get used to this new rhythm. All right. So think of your hunger as a rhythm. It's not a sign that you're starving or you're dying. It's just a rhythm. Our bodies were built to be able to withstand long periods of fasting, right? We didn't have Walmarts and Publixes and Winn-Dixies back in the Stone Age days when food was scarce and you might not eat for, a couple weeks or months, and all you had was like either you killed a lion or some kind of animal, or you were just eating out of the woods. Like, you would have to go for days or a long period of time without food. So it's okay for you not to have food all the time. Okay. Get this whole, I need to have 3 whole meals and 3 snacks thing out of your mind. That's not going to work for most people because we don't move enough to burn that many calories. Okay. Number 4, you're going to have to learn to adapt to a new relationship with food. The things that you are doing now have gotten you to the place where you are now. So if you think that you can get to a new place while doing the same thing, you're kind of crazy. It's not going to happen like that. You're going to have a new relationship with food. There's going to be times where you might even think about food a little bit more because you haven't had things. So you're going to start craving things that you cut out of your diet. And eventually some of those cravings probably will go away. When you're not eating ice cream all the time, eventually that craving starts to dissipate. When you don't have chocolate all the time, it starts to dissipate. But when you have it a lot, like your body just and it expects you to give it that reward, those cravings are going to always be in the top of your mind. So it's okay. You're going to get a new relationship with food. You're going to probably do something different that you're not doing right now, right? You're probably not going to snack as much. You might shrink your eating window. You might start eating more vegetables. You might start eating more protein. You might stop eating fried food or going to restaurants or drinking alcohol. Like you're going to have a new relationship with food. So many people, they ask me for advice on how to do this and how to get this lean, and they're like, oh, no, no alcohol. It's like a shock to them that I don't really drink that often. I'm going to have to just be a new person. Okay, so accept that. Number 5, you need to understand that you're not always going to be motivated. There's days where I just don't feel like exercising or going to the gym. And most of those days I still go anyway because I have that discipline built in. Especially if I have a goal that I'm trying to reach. If I have a goal that I'm trying to reach, whether it's a strength goal or a physique goal or some other thing that I'm doing, I'm going to make sure that the discipline is going to get me to the gym when the motivation doesn't. So you need to have your reason why front and center at all times. All right, find ways to remind yourself. If you're going to do it for a wedding and you're trying to fit into that dress, well, you better put a countdown on your phone. All right, you better put a picture of yourself on your mirror that you see every day. You need to find ways to keep yourself disciplined along with the motivation, because the motivation it wanes. It goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. But once you get past that motivation stage, you get into discipline stage, and then you get into the habit phase. So when it becomes a habit, then that's when you've really mastered things, because now I feel worse when I don't exercise. I know so many people. I had a lady last night and she just exercised for like the first time in like years. And she's like, I'm a little nervous, but my body's asking me, why did I wait so long to finally exercise? It's like a light bulb went off in her head that she was missing out on a whole aspect of life that she was supposed to be doing, that our bodies are built for. Okay. And now hopefully she'll eventually get to the point where she now has the discipline to continue that habit instead of it feeling like she's pulling teeth every time, she gets up to exercise. Okay. So that's number 5. And number 6 is you need to train hard. Okay. What happens a lot of the times, people, they modify their diet, they stop eating as many calories because they're eating a little less junk, and then they stop moving as much, right? And that's not good, because then your metabolism drops. You need to keep your metabolism high by also implementing exercise and pushing yourself, and stop having that self-limiting belief that, oh, I'm not getting as many calories, I shouldn't try that hard. I've heard people tell me, is it safe for me to exercise while fasting? Unless you are someone that has a risk of becoming hypoglycemic, you should be able to exercise while fasting. As long as you're staying hydrated, you're managing your electrolytes, that's perfectly fine. But you need to not say, oh, because I'm not eating as much anymore, I'm doing some fasting early in the morning, I just need to make sure I take it easy. Yeah, take it a little bit easy, but don't just become a sloth that does nothing, because then your body's just going to be like, all right, well, you were giving me this much food and I was moving more. Now you just took away that food and I'm moving less, so nothing's going to happen. And then you're going to complain and you're going to say, I tried this dieting thing, I tried this new method and it didn't work for me, right? Because you're not going to be patient with it. Okay? So those are 6 simple truths you need to understand if you really want to get lean. It is not something that is easy, but it's very simple. These are things that you can easily incorporate into your life. If you write them down and you structure your life accordingly and then you follow it, then you can look at the data. Are you getting results? And then you can adjust. But if you just kind of hope and wish and pray and keep saying that you want to do something, but you're not actually putting the actions to make it happen, it's not going to happen. And then you're going to say, oh, I've tried everything. The problem is you've tried everything, but you haven't stuck to anything. All right? So take this information, use it, apply it, and see how far you can go. Let's get healthy together.